So I smoked weed for 17 years. Was a chronic weed smoker. Smoked enough weed to last several lifetimes, and tried to quit many times. Quit and failed at quitting. And there would be some times where I would quit for weeks, months at a time, even 6 months. One time I even quit up over a year, and still always would relapse. And the tricky thing about weed is that, a lot of people think, weed is nothing because, the withdrawal period is so short and, you get quick and the withdrawals are nothing. But it's weed is like this huge mind game. It's this mental game. And I don't know if you're ever really out of the clear, still to this day. Every once in a while, I'll get these cravings that'll pop up. I'll just think, man, all of a sudden, for whatever reason, old MJ, old Mary Jane, is blowing me kisses, trying to see if she can seduce me into coming back into her life. Especially nowadays with the, there's all these marijuana celebrities. You'll see them on social media. People, influential people. Next thing you know, you see them, smoking weed out in Colorado or this or that, or getting high, and it's, it's not really as taboo anymore because if anything, it's kind of cool because it's, everybody's on the bandwagon of trying to get weed legalized. And so it's almost kind of seen like you're like this, you're on the forefront, of trying to help get it legalized. And so, people are like applauding people smoking weed nowadays, which can make it hard when you see people that you, that you look up to, that are influenced. Next thing you know, you see them smoking weed, and all of a sudden you start, especially when you were someone like me that smoked weed for a long time, you think, oh, well, maybe I'm missing out, and that's what happens when all of a sudden enough time goes by where you've stopped smoking weed. All of a sudden you forget about all of the problems that weed caused for you in your life, and you forget the misery, and you forget the depression, and you forget about the anxiety that you had from smoking weed, and you forget the lack of energy, how your motivation was drained. You forget about how maybe your libido, your sex drive is down, or all the other various different problems that weed may have caused you for your life. You forget about how it made you sloppier at your career or business. You weren't performing as good as you could. And you start to forget about all these other things, about how maybe you were a social hermit. Your social life wasn't active. And so as enough time goes by, you forget about the dark side. And then you start to think, all these other people, they're successful, they're smoking weed, they're having a good time. My people that I look up to, they smoke weed. Maybe enough time's gone by, I can do it. And all of a sudden it's like weed tries to weasel its way back into your brain and trying to do it again. And so what I do is when I get these cravings that come up, and this is actually an exercise that I used to teach to people that I would coach through weight loss. I've coached hundreds of people to lose weight, and so this is something that I would teach them when they would feel craving come up to eat food, junk food. People that are obese and have really unhealthy eating habits. A lot of times they would get all these unhealthy eating cravings. Mid-morning, afternoon, they would get these cravings to snack and to go to the refrigerator, and it would be all unconscious. They wouldn't even think about it. Before you know it, they got a bag of chips in their hand and they're eating. Or before you know it, they're in the back room at work and they're eating all these empty calories, these sweets and the donuts in the back break room or whatever. And it's kind of like it's unconscious. You just do it. And all addiction really is kind of the same. Doesn't matter if it's eating junk food, smoking weed, or whatever. Behind all addiction lies pain. We're trying to escape from something, and a lot of times it's just habitual. It's our we do the same things. Our life really becomes a composite of our habits, and so when we do things on a regular basis, our brain creates neurons that wire together and fire together, and before you know it, we're living our days for the most part on autopilot. I know you have all your routines and everything, and it doesn't think about it. It doesn't exercise will for you to get up and go make a cup of coffee if that's what you do every day, or to go have breakfast, or to do whatever it is you do throughout your day. There's a lot of things you do throughout the day that they're so habitual you don't need to exercise will to do them. And that's what happens with a lot of our addictions that are harmful, is that they become such ingrained in our life that it's not like when you first smoked weed, it, really took all your brain capacity to do it. It was, when you first smoked weed, it was like such a pivotal moment in your life that, it was like, oh my gosh, I can't believe I'm doing it. And that's why it's really easy to remember your first time that you ever smoked weed, because it was such a monumental moment in your life. But all of a sudden, as time goes on, the many years go on, and the thousands and tens of thousands of times that you smoke, that it's like nothing, and it's not something that you're exercising will or any thought into doing. You're just smoking a bowl and you're going on living your life. And so, anyways, I diverge, but I digress. So I'm getting back to what I was saying, something that would teach people and how to break these cravings that would come up to smoke weed, that I would teach people to break the habits to not to hold on, someone trying to call me now. Sorry, someone was just trying to call me. But so something that I would teach people to get them to break the habit of trying to, or break the craving, I should say, from going to the refrigerator to wolfing down food, is to reset your neurological system by just taking a couple of deep breaths. And I started, as you guys may know, I started practicing the Wim Hof method over 2 years ago, made it a part of my life, and it has changed my life in so many ways. And you can do a full exercise routine doing the Wim Hof breathing exercises, going to the stretching, the push-ups, the meditation. But, you don't always have the time to do that, especially when the cravings come on. You might not have 20 minutes to set aside and go through, a full Wim Hof routine. And so, but you can take a couple deep breaths real quick, to reset your system. And even just taking a couple... do that about 10 times. Take a couple really deep, don't overthink it and overcomplicate exactly how to do it. Just 10 really deep in and out breaths. What happens, start to get a little lightheaded. That's good. That's your body alkalizing, the blood alkalizing, is it resets your neurological system. And what happens is that these cravings, a lot of times, for going to eat some chips, some junk food, will go away, or to smoke weed just like that will go away. And that's what I found, is that when I do find all of a sudden my brain going down this path of trying to lure me back into smoking weed, or going back down a dark road that I already know where it leads to, is I will stop and I'll take a couple deep breaths to reset the system. And it's so powerful that I think that's a big reason why we enjoy smoking weed in general, is because you're almost doing the Wim Hof method. When you're smoking weed, you're taking a bowl, you're taking these deep breaths, and you like that, and you get this, obviously you get a much deeper high from the THC, but at the same time, it's like you're doing breathing exercise. You're taking fat bong rips, you're smoking blunt, you're doing a whole breathing exercise routine. Same with smoking cigarettes. You smoke cigarettes, a lot of times it's like, I think a lot of times the reason why we like it is because we're taking these deep breaths and we like them. And so if you think about it, you can survive, like in survivalism, there's a rule of 3 that you can survive 3 minutes without air, 3 days without water, and 3 weeks without food. Well, what's number 1? Air. Oxygen is the most important vital nutrient out of anything. Truth is, you could throw away most of your supplements if you just learned how to breathe properly. If you just took the time to do deep breathing exercises daily, you would notice that your energy levels would go through the roof. And if you think I'm joking about this, just do an experiment of doing intense breathing exercises for every single day for a week, and watch what happens. Is how much more energy you have throughout the day. How much better you feel, how more emotionally happy. There's an old Asian saying, it's short breath, short life, long breath, long life. So if you take deeper breath, you're going to live longer. That's science now has proven that those who breathe have more shallow breath and don't take as deep as breath, the blood becomes it becomes easier for disease to form, cancer cells to form, and that those who are breathing deeper on a more regular basis, because the blood is more alkaline, it's harder for cancer cells to grow, and disease cells. Really, a disease can't, or a virus can't survive in an alkaline environment. So just by doing deep breaths on a regular basis, you're gonna blow your immune system through the roof. You're going to make it easier for you to have more energy. And getting off topic here again, when you have those cravings come up, when I have those cravings come up, I just stop. I'll take some deep breath, even if it's just 3 deep breaths. It makes a difference, but I try to do at least 10, and I'll notice that it helps. It resets my brain. It resets the brain so that all of a sudden, those cravings, you come back to you. It grounds you. So it's like you come back to reality, and you're able to think clear. And a lot of times I notice I'll get those cravings when I'm not breathing as. Maybe it's like I'm just for whatever reason I didn't I hadn't exercised really that good that day or something, and it's like, and I just haven't had a chance to really do any good deep breath throughout the day, and because my body and my blood and everything is more in a acidic type of a state, that's when the dark side will start to take over you. So that in itself is a good reason why to exercise. When you exercise, you're breathing deeper, and it forces you to take deeper breath, and so you're alkalizing your body. And like yesterday, for example, I was feeling kind of just not my best in the afternoon. It was kind of a stressful day, dealing with taxes and all, and multiple businesses. I don't really like taxes, and so all of a sudden I was like, you know what, I'm going running. And so I just I'd already worked out, but I just put on my running shoes. I ran 2 miles, and I came back, and I felt incredible. But I noticed that while I was running, I was taking deep breath because I was pushing myself hard, and the exercise and the deep breathing, it just got me feeling great. And so yeah, guys, I'll do more videos one of these days. I'll do a video showing you how I do the deep breathing, full exercise routine. But for those that really want to learn and truly change your life, if you're really trying to quit the habit of smoking weed for good, I highly, highly, highly recommend to get the Wim Hof breathing course, the Wim Hof method course, and learn the full system about how to change your life through the breathing exercises. And I'll put a link in the description where you can check out the course. I highly recommend it. It's the best investment you'll ever make. And the nice thing about it, breathing really is, it's free. You can take it with you anywhere you go, and it'll change your life more than any supplement you'll ever buy. So with that being said, guys, if you have any questions or anything, leave a comment below. And until next time, guys, have a great day, a great week, a great month, a great year. Let's make it a great life. See ya.